Hi, I'm here with Meagan, and I'm just going to ask you some questions. So, what is your job?
Well, I actually have a couple of jobs at the moment. I'm a journalist and sports editor at the Guardian newspaper. It's my main job. And my other job is I own my own video production company. So we do weddings, debs, things like that. And we also run Hocus Focus Media, which is an adult filmmaking class for people with disability, where they learn how to make video.
Yeah. And do you feel like you help people in the community?
I think so. Like my previous roles were in community services, and when I transitioned over to the Guardian as a journalist, I really wanted to write articles that inspired people and shed some light on the really good things that are happening in our community instead of news always being negative and bad. So I think I help that way, and I think as well with Hocus Focus, it's all about passing on, the bits of information that I know is passing it on to people. So I think that helps.
So, what other jobs have you had before this? What do you do now?
I've probably had more jobs than anyone you've ever met, but just focus on the main ones. So I started out my career in the casino industry, and I was a dealer on the tables. So I've worked in Northern Territory, Sydney and Melbourne as a croupier. And then I spent about 13 years in community services. I worked in domestic violence and sexual assault unit. And I went to a place called Centacare where I did gamblers help and relationship counselling, and I also worked recently at Mallee Family Care in the mental health program.
And what qualifications do you have for these kind of jobs?
Well, interestingly, I didn't actually have qualifications for the jobs, which is probably not what they want to hear, but I did do VCE, and I think I was just always really prepared for the interviews when I went to the jobs, made sure that, I was really passionate about the jobs. So in community services, I did have a diploma in community services, and I also had a diploma in professional counselling. But with journalism, I work predominantly with cadets that are just coming out of university. So the majority of journalists that work at the newspaper will all have a degree in either communications or journalism, media, something like that. So I've just been really fortunate that I've been able to land the jobs that I've got through my life experience and through my initiative, I guess. I've always loved writing, so I just wrote for the pleasure of it. So I was able to present that when I went for the job interview.
So, what do you think the best part of your jobs are?
The best part about my jobs now is that I'm doing things that I love. So all my jobs they're not really like going to work. It's like every day I get up and just do amazing things and work with amazing people. So that's my advice. I always say now, and I didn't invent this saying, but if you can have a job that you love, then you'll never work a day in your life, and that is how I feel. I love getting to meet all the different people through the newspaper. We meet, 5 people a day that have really inspirational stories, and I really as well enjoy getting to share in some of the, special occasions we get to do through video work, like weddings and stuff.
Yeah. And what's the hardest part of your jobs?
The hardest part of the journalism job is the rate that you have to work. So you basically can't invest too much time in each story, which would be nice if we could. And so we're working to deadlines, so we're working to a lot of pressure, and we get 3 papers out a week, so as soon as you sort of finish one, you're already working on the next one. With video, I would say the hardest part is probably pleasing everybody. I've learned over time that you just can't. And so sometimes it's about just believing in yourself and sort of trying to understand what it is that your client wants you to give them, but also making sure they understand what it is that you've got to give. So don't hire me if you're looking for this particular thing, because I don't do that. So it's about building the relationship and making sure that the client understands this is our package, this is our gift, and the way that we present it, is that going to suit your needs? Because then I think the hardest part is obviously having people that are disappointed. I don't think it's happened. They haven't told me. But you do worry about what they think. So.
Yeah. So how do you deal with stress related to your job?
Well, again, I'm at a point in my life where I sort of tried to not do jobs that stress me out. Sometimes with the deadlines at work, I try and just prioritize. Just say to myself, all right, just calm down. What needs to go out first, rather than think about the big picture, because then you'll get stressed. And the other thing that I try, filming is not stressful for me generally, because I love it so much. But sometimes at a wedding and the pace is moving really quickly, I just usually scream at people. I think that it's about understanding that your job is going to be stressful, and it's what you do in your downtime. So I make sure that, if we've got a stressful job, that I allow myself plenty of time at home to just relax, unwind, do the things that replenish me, like spend time with you.
I bet. How did you get into filming?
Filming was actually entirely just a leap of faith. My mum passed away, and she left me a camera, and it was something I'd always loved doing it was something I always wanted to do when I was at school, and had I pursued it, I probably would have gone off to uni and gone into it, but I took another route. So it was kind of like finding my way back to something that I'd always been passionate about, and I'd always done it just for a hobby. So when my mum passed away, I had the opportunity to have a little bit of money, and I decided to go for it, which was, you don't just go for it. It's not about just having the money. I did up a business plan. I researched the area, to make sure that I knew that I wasn't coming into a market that was already flooded with videographers. Looked at the sort of projects that we would want to try and make. Was there a market here in Swan Hill? And we've been in business now. Get Real Productions has been in business for 4 years, and it probably took a good 2 years to really, get ourselves out there and, get some regular work.
So I know you said that you don't have any qualifications, but did you take any courses to get into filming, or?
So with the filming, what I've done instead is that I'm investing in my son. So my son is 17, and he has he shares my passion of filmmaking, and he wants a career. And so instead of myself going and studying, I've sent him to Swinburne University, and he wasn't doing well at school academically, but he has a real talent for filmmaking, and based on his portfolio. So I kept saying to my son, it's important that you keep creating. Keep, anything you do, create a portfolio. And through that, he was actually given a staff or faculty reserved spot where the faculty, because he didn't meet the criteria, but if you've got, a good work portfolio and stuff like that. So he was really, really lucky to get a place, and I'm hoping that he brings that knowledge now back to our company, and he will, in a way, I guess, be leading in terms of the foundations and even the technology and where it's advancing and things like that. For me, again, I don't know how the school's going to feel about this, but I spend all my spare time watching YouTube tutorials, and I really like that because you get to choose your teacher. So if I'm on one where the guy's boring or he's taking too long, I understand my own learning style. So I try and find the tutor on YouTube who matches my style. So I know that I like to see things. I don't want people to just talk to me on the video. I need them to say, so you take this and you do that, and then I sit there with my camera at home and I do it, because that's how things sink in for me. So yeah, I have no real formal studies, and I've just watched and learned. There's filmmakers that I love, and it's about really looking, when you're watching a film, really looking at what they're doing, how have they got the camera placed, how have they got the subjects placed, that kind of thing, and just it's very subjective anyway. Like, it's like art, what one person likes somebody else might not like, so there's no real right or wrong, and it's about just evolving yourself, I guess, through practice.
That's basically all the questions we've got.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Thank you.